Okay, and I'm pretty much just working for a program here. If you've got very good pause skills, there's a copy of my program.
Pause skills?
Yeah, pause skills.
Pause, as in?
No, as in
right,
pause button.
Oh, pause!
Yeah.
I said pause.
No,
What?
not pause skills, no.
Well, so you can know you get it. Pushing them up. Fucking mind goes off, doesn't it?
I've got pause skills.
Yeah. Mine, I've got POOR skills.
Okay, I just run the program, BroadBand HamNet vLAN Planner Tool by Rob 2E0RPT, with Mark 2E0VHC in the background. I'm just calling myself BroadBand HamNet UK, just so that if anyone's interested in BroadBand HamNet and they're in the UK, maybe they'll seek me out. Well, that's the plan anyway. We got to come together if we're going to get this working. But anyway, something that's rather complicated is setting up the VLANs on the routers. Took me a while to understand it. I believe I understand it now, and I've been helping out quite a few people with their VLAN settings recently. So I wrote this little program. Press enter to continue. Do you need a WAN port for your BroadBand HamNet nodes? So this program is asking nice, plain, simple English questions. You input it in and it thinks it all out and gives you the configuration for your VLAN router based on what you got. There's pretty much just 3 questions and it will do everything for you. So the answer is no if none of the following apply to your setup, and the answer is yes if any of the following applies to your setup. So if any of 1 to 4 applies to you, then the answer is yes. If not, then the answer is no. Should you wish to have internet access via your LAN ports, then you'll need to feed the WAN in there, even if you're not sharing your internet. If you want your internet accessible via the LAN ports within your QTH, that's the yes for 1. You wish to share your internet via RF to other BroadBand HamNet users. It's entirely up to you. I'm sharing mine just for testing purposes, purely because I don't have the ability to do a speed test from 2 points or something on my LAN or across the BroadBand HamNet without the internet enabled. Number 3. You wish to run a virtual tunnel client or a server on one of your nodes. You don't have to be sharing your internet out via the nodes, but if you're running a tunnel client or a server, then yes, you need access from the outside world. So that would be a yes for 3. And number 4, you wish to upgrade firmware or modules remotely, not on site. Then you'd need WAN access in certain circumstances. Like I said, if you're not on site, there's 2 ways of going in: via a tunnel or a client, which is not recommended to go in via the internet, or from the connection of a neighbouring node connecting via RF. Again, probably not recommended. I'd probably recommend that you go on site, because then if it does go wrong, at least you're already there and you'll have some clue of, a bit more of a clue of what went wrong. Plus you can always kill the power and fire it back up, which is a pretty good cure for almost everything. So I'm going to say yes, and what that will do is that will add a WAN port to your VLAN setup. So I'm going to hit yes. How many broadband nodes will be connected to this router? Now I'm going to go with a theoretical amateur radio guy who's quite enthusiastic. So he's got 4 nodes. say he's got 3 nodes on 2.4 gig and a node on 5 gig or something like that, but we'll just say 4 nodes. And how many ports in total does your VLAN router have? Now, that's easy, just count the ports on the front of your router. I'm going to go with 8. No, I'm not. I'm going to go with 10 as the first example. Now it says you will have extra LAN ports that you can reassign to other nodes by copying the VLAN configuration of ports 1 to 4. Press enter to continue. As soon as I press enter, that will make sense. So if you're wondering what that means, it will make sense on the next page. So here we are. The WAN port that connects to your internet router will be on port 10. I always select the highest port on the router as the WAN port. And we have a table here, so I can't help you with the configuration of your VLAN router because a lot of these VLAN routers are all completely different. Pretty much different in their GUIs. The way they work and conform to the protocol 802.1q is all the same, but the way that you program them or tell them what VLAN settings you want can be very vendor specific. So here's a table which should give you the right settings for your VLAN router. You've just got to work out how to set your router up so that it follows these settings. Now I've got port 10 with a PVID1 PVID. That will assign a VLAN to any data that hasn't already been assigned a VLAN. So if it's non-VLAN equipment on port 10, it will be assigned VLAN 1. Now as port 10 is what runs off to your internet router, to this router, to give your nodes internet access, it'll be 1 untagged for the data going out towards your internet router. For all the nodes that are connected from ports 6 to 9, nodes 1 to 4 are connected ports 6 to 9. The VPIDs are 10 times the node number, just so that you get them nicely separated apart, and it makes some sense when you instead of having to use completely different numbers, which you could do. It's just easier to take the node number, multiply it by 10, and it's always easy to know which untagged VLAN you want for the LAN port of your node. Then you can see the VLANs on the nodes are 1 tagged. That's because the to feed the WAN port to the Ubiquity device, it needs to go into the device as VLAN 1 tagged. I believe inside the device it becomes untagged and shows up as a different part of the a different port within the code of BroadBand HamNet. But moving on, the other VLAN is the device-to-device link. This is used so that your devices don't have to use RF to talk amongst themselves when they're co-located. Very good idea. The less they're chatting the way up there, the more they will hear. Plus, if you've got streaming data coming in on one node that is streaming data out of one of your other nodes to another station via RF, your co-located nodes are not retransmitting the information among themselves. So you've got a node pointing one way and another node pointing another way. Communication from 2 outside sources that would go through both nodes would mean that the 2 nodes would have to repeat the information to each other via RF should the D2D link not exist. If you enable the D2D link, there is less chatter up the top of your mast, and in terms of microwave networking, the less you're chatting away, the more you will hear, and the greater throughput you'll get. So, and the last part of the table says the use. Then we look at the bottom half of the screen. Again, we've got the port numbers and the PVID numbers that you're to set. And you can see that vLAN node LAN ties up with the ones above it. In fact, because we have 5 spare ports for 4 nodes, we've got 5 ports. Port 5 is an extra LAN port for BroadBand HamNet node 1. That's what my program does. It utilizes from 1 to however many nodes you have, and then the extra ones pop up on node 1. I might change this program so that you can keep altering it, but all those extra ports, you can assign them to as extra LAN ports for whatever node you like by copying the ports, in this example, 1 to 4. So port 5 could have a VLAN, a VPID and a VLAN of 30. So VPID 30 and VLAN 30 untag, and that would appear as an extra LAN port for node 3. I hope that helps. Let's see how this video came out.